I'm Tracy Ortolano. I'm a voice actor. I was just interviewed by Keith Andrew. It was a blast. Friendly, personable, and just a great person to get to know with some real interviewing chops.
I am your host, Keith Andrew, and you're watching the Keith Andrew Network. That's available on LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and all social medias. Make sure to hit that like button, like, share, comment. Our goal is to reach 100 and more views. We're here with Miss Tracy, and welcome to the Keith Andrew Network.
Thank you so much, Keith. I'm so excited to be here, and I hope we can hit that 100 mark too.
No, me too. Once we definitely smash that 100, we would definitely do a part two. For people who want to know, what is the Keith Andrew Network? That's a good question you may ask, Tracy. What is the Keith Andrew Network? Whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. It's prove to them and stem out something. So that being said, you don't have to have a disability to be a guest on my talk show. Just the fact you're taking the time to be a guest on the show, you're supporting a host with a disability. In return, you get a half hour to share your message, your story. It's whatever you want to talk about. So you're helping me, I'm helping you, and hey, you're making a new friend out of it.
Yep, absolutely.
So the first one I want to talk to you about is you are a professional voiceover actress. So the
hmm
first question I want to ask you is what attracted you to start your career?
Ah, it formally didn't start until about 2018, but I'd always had an interest in acting since I was a kid. Acting, speaking, entertaining, using my voice since I was a kid. Anytime there was, plays or things I could jump into, I would do. I took acting classes in college. And I kept wanting to do that, but the practical side of me kind of took over, and I went into more of the corporate world. And so I've just always loved doing it, reading out loud, acting, just playing and having fun. And so in 2018, I had left my corporate job and opened my voiceover business so I could really do that and have fun being creative. I think that's the best thing about being a voice actor is you get to be so creative and do so many things. Every time you go into your booth, you might be, five different people. So it's really fun.
No, I used to work at Walmart, and I'm like, I got tired of doing the 9 to 5. I know my sister thinks I'm a little dictator because I like to tell people what to do. Not really. I just like being in control.
hmm
And I'm not saying I'm a control freak or anything. It's that I don't like to be micromanaged.
hmm
When you do something, especially as a voiceover actress and as a talk show host, you want to, dress up. Like, hey, oh yeah, I feel empowered and I can do this, and you give yourself confidence. But you don't need someone behind you to snap their fingers,
Yeah.
snap a lip, and say, this is how you're supposed to act, X, Y, and Z. And then you're like, okay, I do what you want me to do. And working 9 to 5 and doing something you hate, it really messes with you mentally. So doing what you love 9 to 5,
hmm
you can see things in a different point of view.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's funny you say that you're not a dictator or control freak. Well, I am. I like to be in control of things. But during my corporate career, I always worked from home. I worked remotely for 25 years for a technology company, and it was just kind of in my nature to be able to work at my own pace without someone micromanaging me. So I can really relate to everything you just said. And then, yeah, it was awesome to be able to finally leave all that and say, now I'm my own boss. Sink or swim, it's all on me now.
Well, I do have some great ideas I would love to talk to you about. Actually, we can mention it now. Hypothetically, would you be interested in collaborating, obviously what we're doing right now, more of it, and cross promoting?
100%. Yeah. I mean, honestly, as entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, creatives, I think that's the way we make, progress, meeting people, collaborating with people, working together and doing that kind of promotions. I think what I love about the voiceover industry, and I'm assuming, I'm going to lump you in that for right now. It's not a community that we're kind of like, I succeed if you fail. It's we all succeed if we're helping each other. And I know that sounds like really cliche, but it's super true. I have two accountability groups of other VO actors I meet with weekly, and we're just all there to support each other. So, yeah, 100% interested in collaborating and helping cross promotion.
It's funny you hit the I almost said the elephant on the head. I was like, why would you hit an elephant on the head? But you hit the nail on the head because I take my interviews very personally.
Hmm.
I've been doing this for, well, this June will be 13, but whatever, it's 2026. It's been, why wait June, right? It's
Hmm.
officially 13 years I've been doing this. Thanks
Wow.
to you, 1,240 episodes. And a lot of people like to say, well, if it hasn't happened yet, it's never, I don't want to hear about shit. I don't want
Yeah.
to get my 15 minutes of fame. If it takes a long time,
Hmm.
you have to make a solid foundation. Once you make a solid foundation, you can build up from that.
Right. Yep.
But my brother likes to say to me, if it hasn't happened yet, it's not going to. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to prove you wrong. It doesn't matter if it takes 13 years. It doesn't matter if it takes my whole life. If I enjoy what I'm doing,
Hmm.
eventually the right door will open. So it doesn't matter. It's always a number, 13 years, 14 years. But if you're passionate about what you're doing, but I want to go back to what you said about how it looks for you and how it looks for me, because all my interviews matter to me.
Hmm.
So, and for maybe I'm looking at it from the wrong point of view. The views matter. So if your episode gets 100 or 200 more views, like, well, you're a great person. He's a great talk show host. But if your interview doesn't get views, then it's kind of like a jab at me. It's kind of like, oh, he obviously doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and why is he doing that? Do you think I'm looking at it from the wrong way? Your honest opinion.
Um, Yes and no. I mean, obviously, doing the interviews and the goals that you have set out for yourself are to get the views, be more visible. You might have different visions or goals than me, for example. I'm glad you said you love the process and however long it takes, it takes. But I think everybody has to set their own individual goals, right? So my goal isn't necessarily to be the most famous voice actor person in the world. That's not really my goal. My goal is to have work that I find purpose driven and meaningful and joyful and creative. And if I can be getting work in doing that, then to me, I'm achieving my goals. Views obviously help. Um, Exposure helps, brings buyers. I'll use the word buyers or companies or people that I can work with. It makes them aware of me. So I do think the views are important. But again, I would have said to your brother when he said, I think you said your brother, um, if it hasn't happened in 13 years, well, what is it that hasn't happened or has? You have to define that, right? Your level of success. So that's kind of how I think of it. But I will try my darndest to get this video out there and get people viewing because exposure absolutely is important in the kind of work that we do, but it's not everything.
No, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
It the views for me, it's like just saying, like, I every time I share this post, I'm a big wrestling fan. I tag TNA Wrestling, WWE, AEW. I'm like, hey, look, I'm a talk show host with a disability. But looking at it from the professional wrestling, well, I'm never going to be a professional wrestler. I can't wrestle myself out of a wet paper bag. But looking at it from, you know, I don't know, Stephanie McMahon or Tony Khan is like, okay, this guy keeps sending me his stuff, the talk show host is a
Hmm.
disability, but yet good message, talk show host is a disability, but no one knows who the hell he is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's kind of like that's why the views matter because it's the
Hmm.
more traffic a Veta gets, like, okay, he's a good talk show host, she's a great guest, you love to hear her story because it's not about me.
Yeah.
It's about you. It's about the chemistry. It's about saying he has his finger on a pulse, but it goes beep beep and it flatlines. We need to go in between. It's like, where is it not connecting? But anyway, it's not about me, it's about you. But you mentioned COVID. So that's the next subject I want to talk about. How has COVID impacted your life? And do
Mhm.
you see life in a different point of view?
Interesting. So, during COVID, you did say COVID, right?
Yes.
So I'm thinking back 2020, right? And several years after. At that time, my kids were both in high school. I had a high school senior and a high school freshman. And so my eyes of that first year were all related to how this was impacting them. Incidentally, January, I think it was January 2020 is when I finally 100% let go of my corporate job and fully retired. I had started voiceover in 2018. I was still dabbling in the corporate world for a while. But then January, literally right before things shut down, I feel like I had let go of my corporate career and was focusing solely on voiceover. So I think I was ahead of that little wave of everybody who went into voiceover during COVID. But I think my experience was um, working and supporting my kids who were now home on I had my daughter was a competitive gymnast. She spends 20 she at the time would spend 20 hours in the gym. Suddenly it's closed, every week. And what do I do now? How do I do school online? I mean, it was 2 years for her. She left school as a freshman and didn't go back to school until she was a junior and upperclassman and missed everything in between. So I think my experience was very personal as I lived it with them, which a lot of a lot of people and parents do, right? But professionally, I feel like the business with voiceover during that time is when I really focused on things like setting up the studio, working on my craft, getting coaching. You could still do all of that. So from that perspective, things weren't shut down for me. And I do have to say, since my kids were in high school, and I feel bad even saying it out loud almost is like I loved it. I loved having us all home. That part was good. Yeah, I went a little stir crazy, but we bought a trampoline, put it in the backyard so my gymnast daughter could have some fun and keep tumbling. But yeah, it was an interesting time for all of us in our house.
Well, your daughter's more than welcome to be on my show. I'm always looking for people to be on the show.
Yeah, she's a college kid now. She graduates from college coming up. So, yeah, time has flown since COVID. It's weird to think that that's something we experienced and for the most part have moved on from. It's kind of a weird thing to reflect on, I think. Like, wow, did that actually happen? Right?
Well, here on the Keith Angie Network, it's very important, and I don't like to preach, but it's very important to get vaccinated. You know, we'll just say like there's a certain group of people that don't get vaccinated, and because of them, certain diseases are coming back, like polio. You think that shit should have been gone 100
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
Polio's coming back. So, yeah, like the whooping cough. So
Yeah.
it's very important, get vaccinated against flu, COVID. It doesn't matter what are your beliefs. It's better to be safe and sorry, be smart. You take care of yourself. We cut down the risk. So we support being vaccinated. But seriously, it's like, who would have thought the whooping cough and freaking polio coming? That's no joke.
Yeah.
Especially now after 100 years, uncensored, that shit can actually get a lot worse.
Well, measles outbreak in Georgia
Right.
is happening right now. They just had some cases at one of the universities. So yeah, it's kind of our own doing if you're not getting vaccinated. It's kind of frustrating.
You can't fix stupid, but you can numb it with a 2x4.
Yeah.
So the next one, I want to ask you about your daughter. Does
Mhm.
she want to be a professional gymnast?
Ah, when she started, probably, right? She started when she was about 8 years old, and she got interested after watching, I can't even remember what Olympics it was, like many little girls do. But she loved it, and she did it for, oh, I want to say 10 years. But she learned pretty early, I think, how challenging of a sport it is and the commitment you have to make to be elite in that particular sport, and how few, sadly, opportunities there are to be at the higher level. Like if you think about it, most gymnastics teams are, 10 to 15 girls at the college level. And then obviously when you go up higher from there, I mean, the Olympic team is only four girls plus an alternate now. It used to be five. But so while she would have liked to have done that, I think the harsh reality sometimes of what you're willing to commit to and what you're, skilled to do. I mean, everyone says, oh, whatever you put your mind to, you can do. Yes, she was competitive. She was fabulous. But there are some innate skills you need to be an elite athlete, right? And so, she might not have been tall enough, or maybe she was too short, or, some things are out of your control. So, and not to mention, it is really expensive to be a high level gymnast.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Now, the next one I want to talk to you all on the subject, breaking the glass ceiling.
Hmm.
As a woman in the entertainment world and being a voiceover world,
Hmm.
how have you, well, let's see, let me rephrase that. Have you felt that you shattered the glass ceiling, number one, and have you accomplished everything that you wanted to up to this point?
Oh, wow, that's a thought-provoking question. I like it. In the voiceover world, I have not accomplished everything I want yet. I feel like this is going to be a long journey in terms of years long journey. And like I said, what do you define as accomplishing all of your goals, right? I have accomplished way more than I expected. It took it also took, a while as well. But in terms of shattering, I think in my old profession I did. I was one of the female leaders in my IT corporation. So that was all well and good. But what I do find in voiceover is I would like to see more opportunities for women voiceover for sure, women's voices. I think, like I said earlier, I'm not competing with other voiceover actors because my voice is my voice, but I will say they're knowing some of my male VO friends, they do have more opportunities, more regular auditions and things like that. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Building Doors campaign by Christy Hurst. It's an organization, you should check them out. They're amazing in terms of she built this campaign to get more women's voices into the sports world. So think Super Bowl commercials, think sports commercials, and she's done a lot of studies. She's been working, I think it's her third year. Really cool, trying to shatter that glass ceiling, if you will. Fantastic campaign to keep an eye on. Check them out on LinkedIn, by the way. So until they're done, I guess we're not done, shattering.
No, you're absolutely right, and that goes for me because I have a disability. Um, People like to stick you in bubbles.
Yes.
I like Bill Maher, even though he's an asshole at times, but we can get to that later. But I cater my show like Bill Maher, where it's funny and
Mhm.
sarcastic. But I'm, like I said, a big wrestling fan. I like Mean Gene Okerlund. So I
Yeah.
like to be classy. I like to be, like Bobby the Brain Heenan, sarcastic and funny. But you have to find the balance of being professional and sarcastic at the same time. You don't want to be sarcastic and you're like, oh, this guy's an asshole.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you want to find the right balance of, oh, he's really entertaining. But there was about, I think it was 17 or 18, where Vince McMahon had, and he's another one, you say what you want about him. He gave us so many great people. He's like the Walt Disney of professional wrestling. Hulk Hogan, The Undertaker, The Rock, Cena. Doesn't mean he's a great person, but in exchange, he gave so many people these larger than life superheroes that influenced you and to inspire you. But
Yeah.
I'm throwing two things at you. I apologize.
That's okay.
But going back to what you said about the women in the entertainment world, 2017, 2018, there's a wrestler, announcer named Renee Young. I met
Hmm.
her. She's really sweet. And she was the like one of the women who wanted to be one of the announcers, broadcast announcers. And I thought that was really good because at the time there, yes, it's a male-dominated
Hmm.
sport, blah blah
Yeah.
blah. But it's always my attitude is it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman because I believe in two genders. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. If you can carry the show, if you can get someone interested, it doesn't matter because
Right.
it's number one, everyone deserves an opportunity. And number two, it's nice to have diversity in the entertainment world.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I would absolutely agree with that.
Now, let me ask you, as a voiceover actress, a lot of people, I joke around with my sister about this. And people are like, "Well, this person's typecast." I give you an example. We like Next Generation. I'm not butcher his freaking name. Something Spider, but he did Data. Oh,
Okay.
well,
Yeah.
he was a robot. He does sci-fi. Then he was an Independence Day. He's a scientist. Is really being typecast that big of a deal? I mean, you're still getting paid, but is it a big deal being typecast?
Um, I would think when you're starting out, it kind of happens naturally, right? Like certain niches or certain characters or certain types of projects that you get are based on what they've heard you do or what you're really good at doing, right? So if you're good at that and you keep getting work in that, I don't see that as a huge negative. Now, on the other hand, if you have goals, like for me, I do a lot of long form narration and work like documentaries and things like that are I use my calm and warm and engaging voice as opposed to an animation voice, right? Like I really want to do more animation work, but I haven't, quote, gotten that work yet. I'm not typecast as someone that does that yet, but I wouldn't mind. So it's kind of like it could be a negative, I guess, if you have completely different aspirations than what you're actually booking all the time, Like if I hated what I was getting booked to do, then that would be, hard. But for me, early days, my career, I don't see it as a huge negative. So you're
And,
booking work, you're doing what you love, right?
and you're getting paid.
And you're getting paid, presumably, right? Yeah,
Oh
100%.
no, paid. I don't want to get
Yeah.
paid.
absolutely want to get paid.
But looking like this, Peter Collins, he will always be iconic. And there's so many. I think there's a wrestling group called Iconic, and they always turn like this.
Uh-huh.
It, but it doesn't matter that you want to be iconic or anything. There's certain people that will always be that person. Robert Downey Jr., Iron
Yep.
Man. I wish I had a dollar for every time I said this. Chris Evans,
Yep.
Human Torch, Captain America. Peter Collins will always be Optimus Prime.
Hmm.
And I love, are you familiar with Funimation?
With Funimation?
Yes.
No. Mm-mm.
Like Funimation, so they created He-Man and Dragon
Oh,
Ball.
oh. Okay. Yeah.
So a couple of good friends of mine, Elise Bowman, Chuck Herbert,
Yeah. Hmm.
Stephanie Arnaldi, and Sean Schimmel is the voice. He is, and always will be, in my opinion, Son Goku. I love Dragon Ball. I'm gonna take that to the grave with me. Dragon Ball means everything to me.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. We can talk about that afterwards.
I love it.
But he said a while ago, playing this goody two-shoe character for almost 46 years. I like to do other things, and absolutely go do whatever things you want to do. But
Yeah.
you always will be Goku to me. But he
Yeah.
said he's tired of being typecast. But what it's like, all right, I can see it from your point of view. 46 years being the same character.
Yeah.
Optimus Prime, Peter Collins, 46 years, give or take. But you can't deny and take away the fact of millions of people from 1986 to 2026 of how many generations of people did you inspire,
Yep.
motivated to follow in your footsteps, and just have an impact on, and I talk with my hands, I'm not Italian or anything, that you feel it in your heart that you inspired so many people for the past 40 years. Let's fucking be sad. Let's be satisfied at, you're getting paid, number one. You have these big fancy houses,
Yeah.
boo-hoo to me, right? But
Right.
imagine if you've been doing this for 40 years. Yes, yeah, then back in your mind, you're kind of like, I wish I was doing other things, but how many people have you touched? Not in that way, obviously.
Yeah.
How many people have you touched? How many people have you influenced, impacted, motivated? That outweighs
Hmm.
your own personal greed, your own personal whatever words you want to use. It's kind of like it outweighs your selfishness, but at the time, be thankful for what you did and inspired other people.
It's kind of like this situation when you're an athlete or something, people are like, well, I didn't want to be a role model. Well, I'm sorry, when you're that big, when you're this star, when you're, influencing people by the millions, I'm sorry, that's who you're known as. That's who you are. You are a role model, an influencer, or whatever, just by the nature of your job. So yeah, embrace it, I guess I would say to those who have that quote problem. I don't have that problem yet.
Not me either. I don't have. A lot of people say I have my head up my ass, but but it's like your daughter. Your daughter wanted to be a gymnast.
Mhm.
Just be prepared later on. So you're like, Mom, I don't know if I really want to do this, but you'd be like, Hey, sweetie, look at how many people you have inspired by your story.
Right.
And it's always great. And I'm just using her for an
Hmm.
example. I do apologize,
No,
but
no, that's great.
I just say it's use somebody that it doesn't matter. It's my friend likes to say to me, Keith, enjoy the journey. It's about the journey, not the destination. So it doesn't matter if you want to be a gymnast, doesn't matter if you want to be a talk show host with disabilities or a voiceover actress
Hmm.
for that matter. Imagine who you meet along the way
Yeah.
and the people that you inspire. but I do have a couple questions for you off the air. I
Sure.
want you to be brutally honest. When I first approached you to be a guest in my talk show, what made you say yes, and how do you feel now?
Okay. Um, well, I am someone who doesn't usually respond to spam texts on my phone, spam email, anything like that. So I'm always very cautious when someone reaches out to me on LinkedIn or socials or whatnot. And your original reach out was on LinkedIn. And so for me, I go and then I do my research. And I found the Keith Andrew Network. I checked out the individuals you've interviewed and the work you've been doing. So once I started looking into that, I was like, okay, this guy seems like he's a real guy. Like this isn't, somebody who's trying to scam me in some way or someone who would make me look bad. So that was the first hurdle that when someone reaches out to me, I'd like to get them past. You've also interviewed one of my favorite VO people and accountability buddies, Lisa Stinton. So her and I talked a little bit after her interview. I watched her interview. She said it was a lovely experience. And then yeah, I just I just thought after those two checkpoints, I had to think to myself, I really like your mission and what you're doing, and I wanted to be a part of it. So
I do apologize for spamming, that's a horrible habit, but I
it's
don't
not
do
it's not really spam, it's just cold outreach, right?
right.
And everybody as a solopreneur, you have to do the cold outreach. So I probably shouldn't use spam because that has negative connotations. You did some marketing. You marketed to me. I didn't, it was a cold marketing but now it got warm and now it's a relationship. So it's all good.
No, absolutely. I do have a couple questions for you off the air about wrapping
Okay.
up. How can our fans and viewers get in touch with you? And do you have any new projects along the way?
Yeah, so my website is tovoice.net. You can reach out to me via email on tracy@tovoice.net. I'm on LinkedIn, all over LinkedIn as well. New projects I'm working on right now. I do a lot of e-learning narration. So just got a new every year, a new contract gets renewed with a long-term client of mine. So I'm very flurry of activities right now with them, lots of modules to record for them. But I'm also working on a nonfiction book with an author friend of mine that hopefully will be published soon. And my other big project is I'm working on auditions all the time to get booked in commercial work. So that's my focus, at least, that I'm working on right now. And later in the year, probably in second quarter, I'll start working on some new animation work in terms of creating new demos and materials and working with a favorite coach of mine for that. So a few things coming up.
No, absolutely. Where I do is I when I don't do my interviews as well, my disability shows more on the show. We're gonna do a special sit down right after this commercial break. But this interview will be shared on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. Let's say top four: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Our goal is to reach 100 or more views. It was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest. I hope I made a good impression on you. You're more than welcome to be a guest on my talk show anytime. And again, I really appreciate you. Thank you for supporting. And until we meet again, I'll catch you later. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you so much.